Google vows to block YouTube channels promoting Ipob and terrorist groups. Abia State government confirms 3 monkeypox cases. Zamfara State House of Assembly passes disability law into bill. And on business, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to fast-track issuance of reviewed petroleum regulations. On international scene, Nigeria partners Indonesian firm on vaccine productions. And in sports, Falconets off to Costa Rica for Under-20 Women's World Cup. Hello and welcome to SVTV Newsroom. I am Umkuthum Mohammed, now the news in full. The federal government and tech giant Google have resolved to tackle the use of private and unlisted YouTube channels and live streams by proscribed groups and terrorist organizations. The agreement was reached on Thursday in Abuja when a team of Google officials paid the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, a courtesy visit. The minister had on Thursday asked Google to block terrorist organizations from YouTube. For more on the report, Fauzia Ibrahim Dasara.
According to a statement signed by Minister spokesperson Shegun Adeyemi, the minister said he wants Google to look into how to tackle the use of private and unlisted YouTube channels and YouTube live stream by proscribed groups and terrorist organizations. He said channels and emails containing names of proscribed groups and their affiliates should not be allowed on Google platforms. Mr. Lai, who noted that Google is a platform of choice for Ipob, a proscribed terrorist group, implored the tech giant to deny Ipob the use of its platforms for its acts of violence and destabilization. The minister said Nigerians are among the most vibrant social media users in the world, with over 1 million internet users in the country, and that internet platforms such as Google, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter and WhatsApp enable Nigerians to interact, share ideas, earn a living and participate in social-political affairs. Mr. Lai Mohammed, however, observed that those platforms are usually used by unscrupulous persons or groups for subversive and nefarious activities. Fauzia Ibrahim, SVTV News.
In his remarks, Google Regional Director, Sub-Saharan Africa, Government Affairs and Public Policy, Mr. Charles Morito, said the platform has introduced a program called Trusted Flaggers for Citizens, trained to track and engage with online contents in order to flag content of serious concern, adding that they also don't want their platform to be used for ill purposes. He said Google had set up a desk years back for flagging of fake news, misinformation and other unwholesome content on YouTube. The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency has announced that all federal and state government-owned airports in Nigeria have approach and landing navigational aids. The acting managing director, Naman Matthew Pwajok, disclosed this at the 26th Annual Conference of the League of Airport and Aviation Correspondents in Lagos. He said satellite performance-based navigation procedures that could enable aircraft operate at any time of the day into these airports were also in place, adding that the idea of tagging some airports in the country as sunrise or sunset airports was misplaced. This, he said, was because almost all airports in Nigeria had instrument landing facilities for approach and landing, which meant that they were operating based on instrument flight rules. Mr. Pwajok stated this in a bid to tackle visibility issues in some airports during adverse weather. The agency commenced the implementation of Category 3 ILS in Abuja and Lagos airports, while those of Katsina, Kano and Port Harcourt were being installed and will be ready before the end of 2022. The Abia State government has confirmed 3 cases of monkeypox. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joe Osuji, who confirmed the report, said the discovery was made in Abia North, Umahia South and recently at Ikwano local government areas. Dr. Joe said all necessary treatments are done, including contact tracing, and the patients are doing well and are given all necessary support, adding that surveillance is everywhere and the contact tracing is on, and that they have listed a lot of contacts and taken their samples for investigations. The commissioner also disclosed that the state government has done the necessary sensitization and the positive cases have been contained. The Corporate Affairs Commission says it is partnering with the National Identity Management Commission to reform its initiatives for effective service delivery. Our correspondent Rahama Ibrahim Dusara has more on the report.
The Registrar General of the Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, said this in a statement in Abuja by the Commission's Head of Media Unit, Mr. Rashid Mahi, at the just concluded management retreat held in Kano with the Team Corporate Affairs Commission, consolidating on the gains of digital transformation. Alhaji Abubakar said when implemented, the CAC might only require NIN enrollment numbers and not signatures to process registration applications as were obtainable in other jurisdictions. He said that the Commission was blessed with highly talented, committed and skilled personnel who worked outside office hours to approve applications from customers. Alhaji Abubakar added that training and retraining of its members of staffs in all sectors of its operations will continue to receive priority attention in a bid to achieve its mandates. The Registrar General said the Commission will train 700 members of staffs by the end of the year as against the 583 trained in 2021. Rahama Ibrahim Dusar, SVTV News.
Zamfara State, Northwest Nigeria joined international community to celebrate World Breastfeeding Week. As part of the activities marking the week, the State Ministry of Health, in collaboration with UNICEF and the Primary Health Care Development Agency, organized a public lecture for breastfeeding women in the state. For more on the story, here's our correspondent Ibrahim Fozia.
The occasion, which was attended by the State Deputy Governor, Senator Hassan Muhammad Nasiha, and other government functionaries, featured the lectures, goodwill message and advice for a health expert and traditional rulers. In his speech at the occasion, the Governor of the state, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawale, represented by his Deputy Senator Hassan Muhammad Nasiha, expressed appreciation to UNICEF and other development partners in setting aside the week to give attention to our nursing mothers and their babies.
This will hopefully reduce the dangers associated with feeding babies with the so-called breastfeeding milk substitute and pave the way of the implementation of the International Code of Marketing the Substitute recommended globally. The state government is fully committed to the overall investment and providing direction to the Ministry of Health in ensuring quality healthcare services for all citizens. I would like to use this platform to reiterate the commitment of our administration to provide support on encouraging breastfeeding by enforcing the breast milk marketing and substitute code to put an end to the exploitative marketing of breast milk substitute in the state.
In his remarks, the State Commissioner for Health, Alhaji Aliwi MC Safi, urged nursing mothers to always heed to the advice given to them by experts to ensure the safety and healthy growth of their babies.
Basically, the essence of exclusive breastfeeding is to create awareness to the general public. So we were taking this advocacy down to the rural areas, traditional rulers, imams, religious leaders, community leaders, to sensitize the public the importance of exclusive breastfeeding.
Fozia Ibrahim, SVTV News.
The Group Managing Director of Access Bank PLC, Mr. Roosevelt Ogbonna, has enjoined corporate entities to embrace technology to stay afloat in the increasingly competitive marketplace. Delivering a keynote address at the unveiling of an application known as Sedin Express in Lagos, the Managing Director said corporate entities failing to keep pace with technology and innovations would go into extinction sooner than later. Mr. Ogbonna said that technology had caused disruptions in markets across the globe, a development he said had resulted to untimely deaths for many corporate entities. Mr. Ogbonna lauded Mr. Scarlett Obi, the software developer who built the Sedin Express app, for inventing a software that would help thousands of Nigerian homes to ensure efficient use of household utilities. The Access Bank chief described the new app as a value-added platform that would give easy access to utilities and services in Nigeria. The former Inspector General of Police, Mustafa Adebayo Balogun, is dead. According to a family source, late Balogun died at the Reddington Hospital, Lekki, Lagos, at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, 5th August 2022, following a brief illness. Late Balogun, who was Nigeria's 11th indigenous IGP, died at 74. Born on August 25, 1947, Balogun became IGP on March 6, 2002, and was retired on January 17, 2005. The Zamfara State House Committees on Women, Children and Social Welfare and that of Parliamentary Forum had on Thursday presented the report on the Disability Bill, which was handed over to them for legislative assessment. According to the statement by the House spokesperson Nasiru Usman Biabiki, the committee laid the report before the House plenary for the debate. Our correspondent Rafia Mainasara reports.
Leading the debate on the report, the chairman of the two committees, Nasir Lawal Bungudu and Kabiru Magaji Kotarkwashi, said the bill was presented before the stakeholders. They affirmed that valid inputs were collected and inserted and also all necessary adjustments were made before presenting it for the third reading. Part of the content of the report suggested that a plan of the establishment of a state social protection and disability fund shall be made with an independent source of funds. The bill also suggested that there shall be disability board and the board shall comprise of part-time chairman and 6 other part-time members with at least 1 woman representative, suggesting that the remaining members shall be people with special needs. The report also proposed that the government shall, subject to the recommendation of the state head of services, appoint the executive secretary from within the civil service. Rafi Aminasara reporting for SVTV News.
The attention of Zamfara state government was drawn to an incident in Oyo State. The Zamfara state government had swiftly waded contacting various security agencies in the states of Oyo and Ondo to ensure that none of his traveling innocent indigents is harmed. This came after an incident where a truckload of 147 Zamfara state indigents traveling to Ondo to pursue their legitimate business enterprises in that state was intercepted by security agencies along Iyana Bodija Isopako Road in Ibadan on Wednesday, 2nd August 2022. The state government therefore announced to the general public, particularly families and relations of the traveling passengers, that after security investigations on both the truck and the passengers, there was no incriminating item found with them and they are all released unharmed. The state government therefore thanked the security agencies in these two states for carrying out their jobs in accordance with the laws of the land and urged other security outfits in the southern parts of this country to copy from the Oyo State security agencies in the interest of peace and tranquility of the nation. And on business, over to Rahama Ibrahim Dosara.
Thank you, Kulsum Muhammad, and welcome to Business Desk. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority said it is working to ensure issuance of downstream and midstream petroleum regulations for industry's growth. The authority said when the regulations are finally published, it will be required to be gazetted by the Ministry of Justice. Mr. Obugo Ukuha, the Executive Director, Distribution Systems, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure, NMDPRA, made this known on Thursday in Abuja at the end of its stakeholders' consultation forum on regulations. The forum, which opened on August 1st, was attended by stakeholders from Chevron, Total Energies, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, among others, to equip the industry with the laws and policies to enable investment in the sector. The 10 regulations considered by the stakeholders were gas pricing, domestic demand and delivery regulations, natural gas pipeline tariff regulations, and midstream and downstream decommissioning and abandonment regulations. The regulations included environmental regulations for midstream and downstream petroleum operations in Nigeria, midstream and downstream environmental remediation fund regulation, and midstream and downstream gas infrastructure fund regulations, among others. And that's all we have for today's business news. I am Rahama Ibrahim Dusar. Do have a nice day.
Thank you, Rahama Ibrahim. Now on international scene. The Biovaccines Nigeria Limited is partnering Biopharma Indonesia Pharmaceutical Manufacturing for production of vaccines in the country. The chairman, Biovaccines Nigeria Limited, Dr. Oyewale Tomori, made this known during a courtesy visit of the Indonesian ambassador, Dr. Usra Harahap, and his team to the company on Thursday in Lagos. Dr. Tomori, also a virologist, said the meeting was a continuation of the arrangements and agreement with Biopharma to set up vaccine production plant in Nigeria. According to him, the arrangement started in 2019 when BioVaccine went for a conference in Indonesia and visited the country's vaccine production set up by Biopharma Pharmaceuticals. Currently, Biopharma produces a lot of vaccines which are accredited by the World Health Organization. Dr. Tomori said he hoped in another short time and as soon as they get the necessary approvals from the government, things will move much faster than they have moved before. The virologist expressed optimism that the project will be successful given the support and the approval of the federal government and the Federal Executive Council. Now in sports. African flag bearers, Nigeria's Falconets, departed the shores of the country on Thursday evening for the 2022 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup finals taking place in Costa Rica. Coach Chris Danjuma has picked team captain Oluwatosin Demehin and 20 others, an overwhelming majority of whom were involved in the lengthy qualifying series to wear Nigeria's colors at the 19-day championship. The Falconets had to scale the hurdles presented by Central African Republic, Republic of Congo, Cameroon and Senegal, winning 6 of 7 matches to be eligible to fly Africa's flag once more at the finals in Central America. Nigeria will play France, Canada and Korea Republic in Group C of the 16-nation tournament starting on 10th August, while 2018 runners-up Spain will tango with hosts Costa Rica, Australia and Brazil in Group A. Africa's other flag bearers Ghana are up against cup holders Japan, Netherlands and 3-time champions United States of America in Group D. Still in sports. Para-powerlifter Nnamdi Innocent has won a bronze medal for Team Nigeria at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Innocent earned a total point of 132.5 in the final of the men's lightweight after his 3 attempts. Malaysia's Boni Gustin claimed the gold medal after finishing first with a total of 154.6 points, a new Commonwealth Games record, while Mark Swan from England finished in the second position with 145.5 points. Nigeria's Thomas Kure finished in the 4th position, the same number of points as his fellow countryman. Innocent's bronze medal on Thursday means Team Nigeria now has a total of 9 medals, 3 gold, 1 silver and 5 bronze medals. Meanwhile, Team Nigeria's women's medal hopefuls Latifa Tijani and Onyinyechi Mark were both disqualified from the women's lightweight final event. And that's all we have in news updates for today, but before we go, a quick look at the major headlines once again. Google vows to block YouTube channels promoting Ipob and terrorist groups. Abia State government confirms 3 monkeypox cases. Zamfara State House of Assembly passes disability law into bill. And on business, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to fast-track issuance of reviewed petroleum regulations. On international scene, Nigeria partners Indonesian firm on vaccine productions. And in sports, Falconets off to Costa Rica for Under-20 Women's World Cup. Thank you, and that's the news. On behalf of the editorial crew, Head on News and Current Affairs Department, once again I am Kulthum Mohammed. Thanks for watching. Do have a nice day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television.